Now, why don't you tell me your name?
Tom Cody. Pleased to meet you.
Looks like I finally ran into someone that likes to play as rough as I do.
Yeah, this must be your lucky night.
You're dumb. Real dumb if you think you can pull this off.
I think you're forgetting something. I got the gun.
You know, poker's a real interesting game, especially when you've got all the best cards.
I don't think she's after the money. I'll be coming for her. And I'll be coming for you, too.
Sure you will. And I'll be waiting.
Good evening. Welcome to this week's edition of the WayBack Movies Podcast, a show where we review the best and not so best of 80s and 90s cinema, because really, fuck the 2000s. My name is Steve, and with me on this crazy journey,
Cousin.
Doctor. And we're back with a movie.
Yep,
it's definitely a movie. I don't know what to say. Yeah, it happened.
Funny enough, this could actually probably get positive reviews from both of us. It's just an odd movie.
I don't even know how to explain this thing's existence.
Because you can't even say it's a product of its time.
No,
because it's not.
Because I don't even know what time it's supposed to be a product of. Because it's so odd. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
We should just jump
into it because I don't even. We'll get to it. Maybe through talking about it, we'll understand what the hell we're going through. So, with that being said, let's go back to June 1st of 1984 for Streets of Fire. Okay, so here we are. I'm not yet 2 years old. Streets of Fire, much like our movie last week, was directed by Walter Hill, written by Walter Hill and Larry Gross, produced by Lawrence Gordon and Joel Silver, production company RKO Pictures, Hill Gordon Silver Productions. Distributor Universal Pictures, box office of $8 million against a budget of $14.5 million. Yeah.
I'm sure it's made its money back through cult status.
I'm not sure that's true.
Most of these movies have. I
mean,
from what I've gathered, because I got the 35th anniversary edition, and on the documentary they do mention that it was a big hit in foreign markets.
Yes.
Like several foreign markets, and then on video. So it's one of those movies that people found it on video, but sometimes it's a little too late.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can definitely see the foreign market, because this definitely I have a feeling Europe would eat this shit up.
It was big in Japan.
Yeah, again, yeah,
and Germany.
It seems like one of those movies where the U.S. just isn't going to get it. But the cast is Michael Perry as Tom Cody, Diane Lane as Ellen Aim, Elizabeth Daily as Baby Doll, Rick Moranis as Billy Fish, Amy Madigan as McCoy, Willem Dafoe as Raven Shattuck, Deborah Van Valkenburg as Reva Cody, Richard Lawson as Officer Ed Price, Rick Rossovich as Officer Cooley, Bill Paxton as Clyde the bartender, Lee Ving as Greer, Stoney Jackson's Bird, Grand Bush, which is actually his name, is Reggie, Robert Townsend as Lester.
My boy!
McKelty Williamson as BJ, Ed Begley Jr. as Ben Gunn, and John Dennis Johnson as Pete the Mechanic. Whew.
Most of these people aren't even named in the movie.
No, they're not. These names are
Ed Begley Jr.'s character isn't named.
Never named.
Lee Ving's character's never named.
No, these are all names that were in the script, and that's just how it goes. It's really weird.
You know, the top half of that, all those people are named because they're in majority of the film. Yeah. But, it's funny, Ed Begley Jr., he's in one scene.
Yeah. It's a great scene, and he's fantastic in it, but much like Ed Begley Jr.'s career, he shows up and then leaves. And that's it. Yeah. And you're just like, wow, what the hell was that? It was good. I don't know what it was, though. So, I actually have a fuck ton of notes for this movie. Probably more than the movie itself. So sit back, relax. As they said in Strange Brew, grab some corn. Okay, so the concept of Streets of Fire came together during the making of 48 Hours, as all the producers worked on that film. Paramount was so happy with the screening of 48 Hours that the producers, wanting to get another film into production at the same time, all came up with an idea to capitalize. According to Hill, the film's origins came out of a desire to make what he thought was a perfect film when he was a teenager, and put all the things that he thought were great then, and which I still have great affection for: custom cars, kissing in the rain, neon, trains in the night, high-speed pursuit, rumbles, rock stars, motorcycles, jokes in tough situations, leather jackets, and questions of honor.
Yeah, all the things that kids think about.
Yeah.
Kids think about kissing in the rain, do they?
He did.
He was a weird dude.
Well, clearly, after seeing this film, I definitely agree, because this seems like the film he was the most hands-on with, and...
It shows.
It definitely shows. This was a passion project in a weird way. According to Gross, Hill wanted to make a film about the hero of a comic book, but since he did not like any of the comic books he had read, he wanted it to be an original character. He wanted to create his own comic book movie without the source material actually being a comic book, said Gross, which led to the creation of Tom Cody. If that doesn't make sense, that explains this film.
Yeah, it's a comic book.
Yeah, it's a comic book.
Because if you put this out as a graphic novel, it would have sold a lot better than this movie.
Yeah. Which makes sense, but it's so weird. Anyway.
That's why I love it. That's why I love it so much.
Hill already had ideas for the script near the beginning of production of 48 Hours, presented him to Gross and asking if he wanted to co-write the script. He loved it and jumped at the chance. During 48 Hours, Gross said he thought that Hill had received a bum rap on people thinking that he doesn't like women, and he knows that's not true. I think that's going to be demonstrated even more clearly in his next films. He told me he's going to do this new thing. He's going to put a female character right in the center of the narrative. It's not new, even in the 80s, but whatever.
And she really wasn't.
Nope, not at all. Although, no, not at all. I was going to say McCoy, no. Larry Gross later said that they were affected, as everyone was at the time, by the success of Flashdance, and they decided during writing the film that it would be a musical, saying, "We said that the movie is a stylized movie. It's not so different from the world of a musical, and there were a few other things that contributed to the direction. One was the decision on Universal's part, a crazy decision, to shoot the movie almost entirely in the studio under a tarp. They built this gigantic tarp, and the Battery and all these other places were built as real places. The Richlands, and which is a weird way to put that, but so those things were all there. And just so you know, this is the early 80s, and you had stylized films like New York, New York, and that were all done on set, and that idea was in the air. That idea of a totally artificial universe. The point is that we had in mind one sentence inspired by George Lucas in A Galaxy Long Ago. A futuristic past. That was in our heads. There's this past and there's the future, sort of. I don't see the future part of it, but...
Neon.
Do what you gotta do. Yeah, but that was big in the 80s. So
but if they present it as something from the 50s that has neon, it's still considered in a futuristic way.
I would say it seemed like more of a present-past type of deal, like basically Batman always attempts to do. You know what I mean? It always seems like it's set in the 30s, but they have modern technology.
I think he worded it wrong because, like I said, I think if you're presenting it as something from the 50s, like if this is taking place in the 50s,
right,
but it's got neon, it's technically the future.
Yeah.
Even though it isn't because it's the 80s and everything's neon.
No, that's true.
But it's how you structure it.
Still fucking weird.
Agreed.
Walter Hill thought, the audience will go with you when you set up an abstract world with teenage values and play out a drama within this.
If you give them weed, they will.
Yeah. Or anything else for that matter. It was kind of real, but it wasn't really. I always said whenever someone says fantasy, they immediately think of more Disney-esque, the idea of hard-hitting drama in a fantasy world. That was kind of different at the time. I always thought of it as a musical. They kind of saw it worked in the world of an MTV video. Now, kids, back in the day, MTV used to play music videos, and they all kind of looked like this, in all honesty. And that's kind of definitely where they were going.
This movie came out right before MTV hit big.
Yeah, it was just, they were looking at it going, oh, it's a music video. That's what they do. They were also inspired by John Hughes films, with Gross saying, we were in the universe of the teenage movie, teenage reality. So we said, here's what we're going to be weird about, the world of our movie. No one's going to be over 30. The world is a high school, essentially, and Tom Cody will be this football hero, and Willem Dafoe is the greaser. Remember, you had John Hughes at the time, and then you had Coppola making 2 high school movies, The Outsiders and Rumblefish. So Walter said, we're going to make the high school movie that's also going to be a comic book, and is also going to be a musical.
It's a lot of alsos there, Walt.
That's pretty much how this film is what it is. It's like, yeah, we'll do this, and we'll do this, and we'll do this.
It's like a 10-year-old trying to
really
explain, and we're going to have greasers, and we're going to have neon, and we're going to have guns, and we're going to have cars, and we're going to have music, and we're going to have guys that are like, okay, Walter,
really,
Walter.
Yeah, Walter, sit down. Somebody give him a cookie and tell him to
No, too many cookies, too much sugar.
All right, give him his bottle, and we'll put him to bed, because this is enough. On the tone of the film, Gross said, Hill did not want the film to be especially violent. There would be no blood, and no one would die. He'd say it would be inappropriate to direct this movie if there was any blood. There was blood. We're in the world of Beauty and the Beast. This is a fairy tale. Now he neglected to mention that some fairy tales are very violent. This one was very violent. There was blood in this movie, so I don't know what the hell.
Blood.
It's there. It's when he beats the. Well, I mean, we're jumping way the hell ahead.
Yeah,
he beats what's his nuts up. Yeah, he's pretty beaten. He's pretty bloody.
I think blood is in, like, shoot, bang, bang.
Yeah, no, you don't see, of all the shooting, I mean, they all kind of go to the Stormtrooper school of shooting. Nobody actually gets hit by any of these. Gross and Hill would work out their ideas in detail. Gross would do a draft, and then Hill would rewrite it, which sounds very likely. He did not love creating scripts from scratch. He loved rewriting. However, by this stage, Gross and Hill had worked together so closely, Gross says, I began to develop a strong sense for knowing how to sound like he did. Nope. This film definitely seems like it was written by 2 different people. It really feels weird. When the script was finished, they sent it to Paramount. Gross says that Walter's agent Larry Golden and Michael Eisner, head of production at Paramount, got into some kind of fight when the script was finished. We learned later that I believe Eisner rejected it on the grounds that it was too similar to Indiana Jones. No.
What the fuck movie were you watching?
I have no idea. Conceptually. No.
No!
So they didn't pull the trigger, and Berg ended up selling it to Universal. That's wishful thinking, my friend. I'm pretty sure that just means that Eisner just went, okay, this is a little too nuts. I'm just not going to do this. They submitted the script to Universal executive Bob Rame on a Friday in January of 1983, and by the end of the weekend, the studio had given them the go-ahead to make the film, and this was the fastest ever green light Hill had received, and he put it down to the box office success of 48 hours. Guarantee you that's the last time that happens.
No. Another 48 hours.
Did Walter Hill do that?
I don't know.
That's the thing. That's what I mean. I'm talking about in Walter Hill's life. Did a green light happen that quickly? This might be the only time.
Yeah.
As with most movies like this, they wanted to cast a relative unknown for the lead role of Tom Cody. Among the actors they saw for this role were Eric Roberts, Tom Cruise, and Patrick Swayze. Gross said that they wanted Tom Cruise and made him an offer, but he had already accepted another role, which I literally did the research and figured it was probably Legend. So
he turned down one weird movie for another.
Yeah, arguably weirder movie.
Yeah,
because
we'll get there.
We'll get
there.
Hill was told by Michael Perry told about Michael Perry by his eventual wife Hildy, who also told him about Eddie Murphy for 48 hours. At the time, Perry had only been in 2 movies. Hill said he just had the right quality for the role. The way I looked at it was like, yeah, a toned-down Andrew Dice Clay.
I'd say discount James Remar.
That too. Either or, really. How did James Remar not get this role?
Yeah, especially because Walter Hill, the Warriors.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, why wouldn't you just go, well, that's the guy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe he's just like, you can't look at James Remar's face and see he's... Now, granted, this guy's not a great guy.
No.
Like, as far as heroes go, he's kind of a dick.
Well, that's how it works.
But it's just, I think James Remar's too much of a dick. So...
That's true. He only kind of ever plays dicks, doesn't he?
Yeah.
An early incarnation of the screenplay was offered to Paul McCartney, whom the producers had learned was interested in playing a role in a dramatic motion picture. When McCartney passed on the film, he decided instead to star in his own screenplay, Give My Regards to Broad Street. The role of the kidnapped rock star was rewritten, and Diane Lane was cast in the part of Ellen Aim. He was going to play the rock star that got kidnapped.
Nope.
There is another, I've said this before, there is an alternate universe where that happened, and I want to see that like yesterday.
Like he's being carried off stage?
Yeah. What will it be led to?